Thank you, Senator. Senator from Portsmouth, Senator Lucas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise on a point of personal privilege.
Senator has the floor.
Well, children, where there's so much racket, there must be something out of kilter. I think that twixt the Negroes of the South and the women of the North, all talking about rights, the white men will be in a fix pretty soon. But what's all this here about rights? That man over there says that women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and to have best places everywhere. Nobody ever helped me into carriages or over mud puddles. Nobody ever helped me into any place, and ain't I a woman? Just look at me. Look at my arms. I plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could head me, and ain't I a woman? I could work as much and eat as much as any man when I could get it, and bear the lashes as well, and ain't I a woman? I born 13 children and seen most sold into slavery, and when I cried with a mother's grief, none but Jesus would hear me, but ain't I a woman? Mr. President, members of the Senate, I don't know if you recognize this, but it's familiar. Today I'm highlighting Isabel Bumfree, an African-American evangelist, abolitionist, and women's rights advocate. You would know her best as Sojourner Truth. And I have just quoted from her famous speech delivered at the Women's Convention in Akron, Ohio in 1851. Sojourner Truth was born into slavery in Sketfield, New York around 1797. Her native tongue was Dutch. She was the abused child of several masters during her childhood, and she bore at least 5 children to a fellow slave named Thomas. She escaped with her infant daughter in 1826 and found refuge with Isaac Van Wagner, who granted her freedom. One of her sons was illegally sold into slavery, but with the help of Quaker friends, she won a court battle and recovered that one son. In 1829, she moved to New York with her husband and 2 young children and supported herself with employment as a domestic. As a child, Sojourner Truth had visions and dreamed dreams, which she attributed to God. She became a missionary and zealously preached in the streets. Taking the name of Sojourner Truth, she left New York City in 1843 and accepted the call to ministry. In 1850, she traveled throughout the Midwest, doing heavy crowds and supporting herself by selling copies of her book, The Narrative of Sojourner Truth. She became active in the women's rights movement in 1850, and during the Civil Rights War, she was outspoken on behalf of the Union and called for the enlistment of African-American soldiers and the end of slavery. Sojourner Truth was bold and confident. Determined and fearless, she campaigned for land for former slaves in the New West, a cause which she championed unsuccessfully for 7 years. She apparently became impatient with the women's rights movement, stating, if women want any rights, then they just gotta take them. They just gotta stop talking about it. On another occasion, when accused of being a man because she was a tall, statuesque woman, she opened her brows and revealed her bosom to say, I am a woman. In July 1883, she developed ulcers on her legs and was treated by Dr. John Harvey Kellogg, of whom it is said even grafted some of his own skin onto her leg. If true, this may have been the very first skin graft. Who knows? Sojourner Truth died on November 26, 1883, at the age of 86 in the home of her daughter. She has been honored posthumously many times over, but what sticks out about Sojourner Truth are her determination, perseverance, honesty, and courage, and this adage that I will always remember, that truth burns up error. Plainly stated, a truth will burn up a lie every day. Sojourner Truth, a woman of principle.
Thank you, Senator. Are there other